In 2016, Wells Fargo mailed out an ad for their Teen Day event that said, "A ballerina yesterday, an engineer today. An actor yesterday, a botanist today. Let's get them ready for tomorrow." To this ad, many artists such as Tony Award-winning Cynthia Erivo responded, saying, "Apparently, Wells Fargo doesn't think that an actor or ballerina require any work at all. Shame." Or Crazy Ex-Girlfriend actress Donna Lynn Champlin saying, 2016's highest paid actor, $64 million versus highest paid botanist, $165,094. Wells Fargo, you sure you're a bank? Or my favorite, from the amazing Josh Groban, "Be right back, gonna take a Wells Fargo loan out to write Botany, the musical." You can tell it's already gonna be better than Hamilton. Like this ad, there have always been people who think that those who are pursuing the arts as a career are wasting their lives. For some parents, it's even a nightmare for their children to express some interest in the arts as a career or even a major in college. So what's wrong with the arts? Why aren't they a viable option for a career? Why don't we hold a ballerina or an actor to the same caliber as a botanist or an engineer? Well, really, I think it's because we never think about the arts as a meaningful world-changing force. We see the arts as entertainment. Movies, music, TV, dance, theater. While we can obviously see the positive impact that doctors, politicians, and lawyers are making on our world, we never realize that artists are making just as large as an impact because it's not right in front of our faces. Art is about ideas. It's about truth. It's an emotional, thought-provoking experience that hopes that you come out of that experience changed. And that change can range from simply teaching you a new life lesson to introducing a whole new idea and perspective about our world and the society that we live in. The change that art makes in our lives is in our thinking and our emotions. It doesn't just entertain, it educates. And it has this limitless creative power fueled by ideas and thoughts that are made to change the world. And this power isn't limited by just the entertainment industry. It can have influence on political spheres and be used for activism and political change. But you know what? This isn't the newest idea in town. With pieces like Pablo Picasso's Guernica and John Lennon's song Imagine, we can see how people have been trying to change the world with art for years. If you go to the Whitney Museum of American Art right now in New York City, you could see a whole exhibit of political and activist art from the 1940s to present day that challenged social ideas of that time. I mean, go to just about any museum and you can find some examples of art that were inspired by social commentary. Similarly, modern music artists today like Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, Childish Gambino, and Logic are helping to bring ideas like feminism, police brutality, and suicide into the limelight. We've all seen how Beyonce advocates for feminism and women's rights in her music. We've seen Kendrick Lamar performing at the Grammys, exposing how police brutality is through his music. And if you haven't seen Childish Gambino's This Is America music video yet, then you really need to do that before you go home to the rock that you live under. What I love specifically about Logic is his performances and the speeches that he makes after them. At the VMAs, he said, "I'm here to fight for equality because I believe that we are all born equal, but we are not treated equally. And that is why we must fight. We must fight for the equality of every man, woman, and child, regardless of race, religion, color, creed, and sexual orientation." His song, 1-800-273-8255, you know, the one that goes, "I've been on the low, I've been taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind. It feel like my life ain't mine. Who can relate? Woo." That song is the number to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline and has increased calls to NSPL by 33%. That's saving lives through music. And he continues to spark conversation about more things like racism, domestic violence, and mental health through more of his songs on his album, Everybody. Hollywood can also be contributors to things like racial equality and the fight for it in America. With Oscar winners like Coco, Get Out, and Moonlight, we've seen how Hollywood has to be careful now and think about its role in contributing to racial equality, racial diversity, and accurate cultural representation in its works. Aziz Ansari talks about how important it is for people to see themselves represented on film and TV, saying that growing up, he rarely saw any Indians on film or TV except for brief appearances as a cab driver or a convenience store worker, literally servicing white characters who were often more interesting adventures. Even when race is considered for casting, more often than not, it's unfortunately to play a stereotype. But Aziz Ansari fights this not just by being a racial minority actor himself, but also by using his TV show Master of None to include episodes that present more racial diversity and talk about whitewashing on film and TV. Other shows like Empire, Blackish, and Fresh Off the Boat, shout out to all my Asians, are helping to do the same, creating episodes that talk about being a minority, a racial minority in America. But what about a more recent example, something more local, close to us? Well, let me tell you something about tell you about someone very close to me and to my heart. My sister, Ruthie Ofrasio, who's actually here tonight, is an EBHS alum and a recent NYU graduate from the Tisch School of the Arts. And by recent, I mean that her commencement was literally 2 days ago, and I was at her Tisch salute this morning. Yeah. How fitting. Anyway, in January 2017, she became the NYU representative in the Miss Philippines pageant that Rutgers Newark Filipino Student Association had run with about 23 other universities participating in. However, she decided to use that opportunity as a platform to speak her mind about the recent Trump election that happened a few months prior. And so, to a nearly packed Newark Symphony Hall, she used multiple forms of dance and a spoken word piece to preach ideas about being proud of your cultural roots and your race, no matter what kind of oppression you may face in your life. She said that as the second most Asian American group in this country, as their caregivers, nurses, entertainers, and chefs, we Filipinos cannot be silenced. So guess who won Miss PI 2017? My sister was a trailblazer for future Miss PI contestants to come and saw the influence that she had on these women through their own spoken word pieces and passion-driven performances that were inspired by her in Miss PI 2018, which she judged. But you know what? That's just the tip of the iceberg. My sister has formed a whole business dedicated to the visibility and representation of Asian Americans and people of color in the arts. This is akin, or if you're Filipino, akin, which means mine in Tagalog, the main language spoken in the Philippines. Akin is a creative platform that my sister conceptualized and launched with a group of artists that she found at NYU. And this creative platform is dedicated to providing a space where unrepresented artists of color could have a space to collaborate, discuss, and showcase their work. Akin showcases writing, poetry, music, short films, and podcasts that give a voice to those who are drowned out by a white narrative, and to share stories and experiences that belong to people of color of how it is to be a colored person living in America. Akin uses art to create political change. So you know what does this idea mean for us? What do we even do with this information? I know some of you aren't even artists out there. Well, let me ask you a simple question. What are you passionate about? My sister is really passionate about race and culture as a Filipino woman. Maybe you're passionate about the environment. Maybe you're passionate about women's rights and pay equity. All these speakers here tonight were passionate about something and decided to do something about that passion by speaking here tonight. But what I'm getting at is that regardless of what your passion is, you can do something about that passion through art. And that's the beauty of all of this. You can be the change that you want to see in the world using art. My sister was really actually in a coffee shop thinking about how Black Panther had this huge impact on the Black community in terms of pride and representation when she realized that there wasn't an Asian equivalent of that. And so she just decided to do it herself. And that way, Akin was born. In the last few months, we've seen that we as a generation have something to say. We have opinions. We want to make them heard. We want to be the change in the world. We want to be activists. And this is our way into that. It's art. It's creating something that makes a statement. If you can't paint, then speak. If you can't sing, then write. Use your own resources and talents that only you have. Only you can do the things that you can do. No one else can do the same exact things as you in the same exact way. And so each of you has your own individual way you can change our society. Social media is an amazing place where you can contact the world around you, whether it be 15 people or 1,000 people, and just speak your mind about racism, pay equity, gay rights, abortion laws, anything that you're passionate about. Make your voice heard through art. Art is just another way to make your opinion heard, just as voting can be. Obviously, the arts are something that I'm very passionate about, and I take a lot of pride into choosing it to be my career. Music, especially music and also theater, have been huge components into making me the person I am today. I've been playing viola in orchestra and singing in choir and doing drama club for about 8 years, and I can't wait to do it for the rest of my life. I mean, raise your hand if you have had a meaningful experience on a stage, whether that be a concert, a recital, a show that you've seen. I can't see many of the hands here, but I'm assuming there's a lot. But maybe it was something that you saw on Broadway. Maybe it was something that you saw here on the East Brunswick High School stage. For me, this was the stage that I got to watch my sister grow in her love for theater through 6 East Brunswick High School drama club productions, where I got to be a lost boy in Peter Pan last year, where I got to be the Prince Charming in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella just 2 months ago. This is where bonds with some of my best friends from East Brunswick High School Drama Club have become unbreakable. This is where art does its work, where human experience gets shaped, where ideas are not only created but shared and encouraged. And it's hopefully where I get to shape your human experience here today. I'm so happy that I get to make another memory on this stage here. And I encourage you to follow your artistic dreams. And even if you don't have any artistic dreams, then support the arts. Because no matter whether you're watching a concert or a recital or anything else that's a piece of art on a stage, you are supporting the message that it hopes to send into the world. You are supporting the change it hopes to see in the world and that it is making in the world. Art has this amazing ability in making its way into every part of our lives, and that's no coincidence. Today, more than ever, people are trying to call on others to actively improve our society, which is something that we really need right now. And art is one of the best ways to do that because that is the nature of art. Even doing this talk today, doing the speech, participating in this TEDx event, I am using the art of language and speech and rhetoric to help you understand my point of view and hopefully change your perspective on how you might be able to use art for your own gain and for the world's gain. Ideas worth sharing is what TEDx is all about. It's literally their motto. And so artistry is truly what TEDx is all about. You know, Wells Fargo said, a ballerina yesterday, an engineer today, and an actor yesterday, a botanist today. But no, I say, a ballerina yesterday, a lifesaver today, and an actor yesterday, an inspiration always. Thank you guys so much.